Alright, so this is a big case going on right now. You might have heard of it. Dude called Puff Daddy, P Diddy, whatever he's calling himself these days. I ain't trying to talk about that. I've not been following the whole case thing too closely, and I really don't intend to. So I ain't trying to talk about that specifically. It's just more around some of the things that people say when things like this happen, because this ain't the first time someone's been accused of doing something they really shouldn't be doing. But yeah, when these things happen, you always hear some of the same things like, why do they take so long to say anything? Why do they always wait so long to say anything? Why don't they say something when it happened? Why do they always wait so long to say anything? And people act like they can't understand why people don't always say anything right away. And the thing is, I feel like that comes from a very disingenuous place. I feel like we can all understand why people don't say things right away. Now, let me be clear. Of course, you should say something right away. You should say something as soon as possible. Of course, you should. That's when everything's still fresh in your minds. That's when any evidence is easier to gather. So of course you should say something right away. But people acting like they just don't understand why people don't always say something right away. That to me is disingenuous. Because I feel like we've all been in a situation where you've known somebody who's done something, like maybe in school, maybe at work, wherever it was, but you know somebody who done something they shouldn't have done. And maybe not necessarily to you, but one of your friends did something they shouldn't have done and you saw it, or you just knew about it, right? And you knew that you should say something. You knew that you should tell a teacher, tell your boss, tell whoever. You knew you should say something. Tell the police even, depending on what they actually did and where it was. You knew you should say something, but there was something inside you that said, man, I don't want my friend to get in trouble. So you thought, let me just leave it. And that's not necessarily when they've done something to you. That's just when you know that they've done something bad. They've done something illegal, maybe something that they really shouldn't be doing. And you know about it, but still part of you was like, nah, let me just allow it, man. Because there is a part of you that fears losing that relationship. There's a part of you that fears that other people might laugh at you, call you a snitch, make fun of you. All these kinds of things are going through your head. So you know you should say something, but the fear of what might happen is keeping you quiet. And as far as when people take money instead of pursuing the legal stuff, where people take a settlement or whatever it may be, even then, none of that means they were lying or they're just trying to get money out of them or whatever it is. You have no idea what their mental state is like, what their social state is like, what their financial state is like. So yeah, they should see it all the way through to the prosecution. But if you're presented with take the money now or put yourself through all that stress and headache and everything else that comes along with it, I ain't mad at somebody just taking the money. Because unless you are the person that has to make that decision, you don't get to say whether they made the wrong decision or not. So yeah, ideally, people should say something right away. Ideally, people should speak up as soon as it happens. Ideally, people who take somebody to court should see it all the way through to the conviction. But when somebody does choose to stay quiet for a long time or chooses to take the money instead of pursuing a conviction, instead of asking, oh, why did they keep quiet? Oh, why did they take the money? What we should be asking is, why haven't we created a society where speaking up right away is seen as the much more viable and easier option? Why haven't we created a society where pursuing a conviction is seen as the more viable option? If we haven't created that kind of society, and then people do choose to stay quiet or do choose to take the money, and then we start acting like we just don't understand why they do that. Nah, it don't make sense, bro.